Welcome to the second lesson in our Kinetic Typography quest. If you got to this point, you've obviously watched the first lesson, or you bypassed security somehow and got here, and good for you. What we're going to do here in this stage is we're going to learn how to take all of the text that we got together in the first lesson, and we're going to lay that out now using Adobe Illustrator. So again, if you haven't had a chance, take a look at Kinetic Typography in video number 1 if you haven't had a chance to go through that. Otherwise, we're going to continue on. So what we did in the last lesson again is that we took all of our text and we just got into a text editor, made sure that everything is spelled correctly and all that sort of stuff. And what we're going to try and do now is we're going to take it and we're going to create a layout something like this. Now when you design for Kinetic Typography, you always design with the end in mind. How is it going to look when all the text is on the screen? So here you can see "Hello Darkness, My Old Friend," Sound of Silence from Simon and Garfunkel. This is how this person did this one line of the song, and it looks really good. So that's what we're going to learn how to do in this one. So if you haven't already done so, we're going to create an HD file in Adobe Illustrator. So if Illustrator is not open, maybe pause the video now and get it open. And then once you're ready, what we're going to do is we're going to make a new HD file. So we're going to make this one for 720p. Now, if you're going to do this at a different resolution, now you'd in the settings that I choose whatever settings you're going to choose. But for this video, for this purpose, we're going to do a 720p HD video. So to do that, I'm going to go File, New, and what I'm going to do in New Document Profile, I'm going to choose Video and Film. That's where all the presets are for HD video or standard video, whatever you want to make. Again, in this case, HD. So I'm going to go for Video and Film. You'll notice that it jumps to kind of standard widescreen, which is not what we want for this video anyways. So what I'm going to do is choose 720. Again, you want to go full 1080, go for it. For this video though, 720. Okay, all the settings are fine. This next part is a personal preference. Well, sorry, the color mode is RGB and the resolution is 72 pixels per inch. This is just a personal preference of mine. The transparency grid is set to medium, meaning if a video is going to be transparent in the background, if it was a print, it would just stay white because that's usually what paper is. But on a screen, it's going to be black. And so what Illustrator is doing is saying, hey, if you have nothing in the background, we're going to make it kind of medium. It's not really black, it's not really white, it's kind of in between. I'm going to turn the transparency grid right off. That's just a personal preference, and that's when you're going to get just this white background. Now remember though, the background will not be white when we actually make the video. You're going to have to make it white when we bring it over to whatever video editing program or animation program you're going to be using. So I'm going to turn it off just because I want the screen to be white. But again, you decide, play around with these, maybe make a couple files and just see exactly what it does and then decide what works best for you. Again, for this video, I'm going to turn it right off and I'm going to click OK. And here's my new file. I'm just going to close my old one here. So here's the new file where everything's going to go. Now I'm going to start to lay out my text. So I'm going to go and I'm going to actually break this video up into 4 different sections. I'm going to go, I know who I am, I'm the dude, playing the dude, and I'm going to get rid of the comma there, disguised as another dude. So my intention, my plan is to have I know who I am appear on the screen. Then I'm the dude will appear on the screen. Playing the dude will appear on the screen. Disguised as another dude will appear on the screen. You get the idea. So I'm going to take the first part here. I know who I am. Don't worry about any of the uppercase, lowercase, all of that sort of stuff. We're going to fix that over in Illustrator. So I'm going to take I know who I am. I'm going to come over to Illustrator. I'm going to grab my type tool. And I'm going to go ahead and paste that. And there it is. Now obviously this would not make a very interesting Kinetic Typography. It's small, it's just a regular font, Myriad Pro you can see here. It's not really that interesting. It's certainly not what you see here. So what we're going to do is we're going to kind of play around with this a little bit. First things first. Let's start changing the case of the text. So right now this is in sentence case. So you can see here the I's are capitalized, nothing else is. You got an exclamation mark there at the end. So it's in sentence case. What I want to do is, because in this clip, when you listen to it, he's yelling the entire time. So I want this all to be uppercase. Uppercase really means yelling. And really, if you look at a lot of Kinetic Typography, it's all uppercase. I'm not going to retype it. You could absolutely go back to your text editing program and edit it there, but you can do it right here in Adobe Illustrator. So with my text highlighted, I'm going to go up to Type, I'm going to go to Change Case, and then I'm going to change it all to uppercase. And now everything is uppercase as it should be. Now my intention is I'm just going to kind of play around with it here. I'm going to take this here. One of the things I should mention here in Kinetic Typography, this always drives me nuts when people take this and they'll press enter in between and then they try and resize it from here. What I like to do is if you're going to have a stacked text or text in different spots, make a separate text box. It just gives you a lot more control over the scale, a lot more control over the positioning. So I'm going to take I know who. So I'm going to take all of I know who, and I'm going to cut that, and I'm going to paste it in a completely different text box. And I'll show you why here in a second. My idea is to take this I know who and have it go sideways like that, and then I'm going to take I am, and I'm going to stack it like this. So there are sample files provided for you. You can see exactly how I've laid it out if you want to open that up. If you want to see how it's set up as opposed to try and set up your own, you're more than welcome to do that, and I'm going to resize it. Now I can get in there and I can start positioning all the text where I want it to go. So I can change the color of it, I can make it nice and big. Now you're going to notice these green squares in here, and those are kind of important. Actually, they're very important as well. These are safe zones. And the inner green area right here is where all text should go. So it's saying if you want words to show up, if you put it inside this inner box, it should show up fine. This outer green box is for images. So if you have an image, make sure that all important parts of the image are inside this outer green box. Because from this green box to the black line, kind of unpredictable things can happen. It might get cut off. It may not, they might not get the full information, and that's kind of dangerous. So what we're going to do here is I'm just going to take the whole text, and I'm actually going to use the outer box. I'm just going to make sure I stay inside of that. And you might say, well, you said that was for images. Yeah, I get that, but you'll see why later that we're actually going to convert this so that's kind of an image. Now from here, here's where you got to use your creative ability. I'm not going to tell you to choose this exact text or this exact font, all that sort of stuff. You can now take this all and you might decide, you know what, this is a military movie. I'm going to choose some colors that are more military style, so I'm going to choose some greens and some camouflage and stuff. You might decide, again, I find these letters really far apart. Use your knowledge of typography on this one. I want to make this really bold, like really pop out. So you might use something like an Arial black, right? And obviously I'd have to redo the size. Okay. I'll show you what I came up with on this one. This is how it all gets laid out here on this side. So that's how it's going to get laid out. Don't worry about those other boards just yet. We'll talk about those in a second. And here, I know who I am. Why kind of this pink purple color? I don't know. It was just what I was feeling at the moment. So you've got I know who I am. There's my text all laid out for me. Okay, and this is how I want it to appear on the screen when I'm done. So use Illustrator, use all the tools that are there for you, and lay out your text the way you want it to go. Now, we separated this into 4 separate pieces. I know who I am. I'm the dude is another part. Playing the dude, disguise another dude. How can I get all of those in one file? Well, you're going to be using what are called artboards. And in order to do this, I'm going to go Window and Artboards. And you can see here that you have kind of multiple views that are going on. I'm not too sure about this portrait one. I'm just going to get rid of artboard number 2. It's not important for what we're doing here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some more artboards. So I'm going to add board 2, board 3, and board 4, because our movie is in 4 separate sections. I'm going to zoom out here so you can see. Take a look now. And again, I'd have to resize all of this. So let me just get this out of the way so I don't confuse anybody. Let's just take that and shrink that down a little bit. Perfect. Okay, so now you have these artboards off to the side. There's board 2, board 3, board 4. Now this is going to be simple because it's a 4-board animation. What happens if this thing was like 20, 30, 40? What if this was a really long video? I don't want to keep scrolling to the side. You can change the view of your artboards. So right here there's a little drop-down menu, and you're going to see rearrange artboards. So I'm going to go rearrange artboards, and you might decide, okay, I'm going to have them zigzag across, or you can have them go top to bottom so they keep going across. Personally, I like the top down method. So what it's going to do is put one on the left, one on the right, and then move down and keep going. And it's as many columns as you want. So in our case, it's 4 boards. I'm just going to say go across 2 boards and just leave a little bit of space in between each one. And when I go OK, you'll notice now the boards are stacked. So remember, this is board 1. Board 2, board 3, and board 4. Now what I'm going to do is I would pull up all my text, and just very simply on each board, I'm going to decide, oops, maybe I should have copied that. Copy it. I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to paste the text. So then this was the next thing to show up. Kind of small, but we'll fix that later. Plain the dude, copy, come back over to Illustrator, and we're going to paste it. Oops. Should be down here. Plain the dude. And let's grab our 4th line, sorry. Copy it. Disguise as another dude. So I'm going to grab my type tool and paste it into the 4th board. Now what I'm going to do, and you can see here when I grab my different artboards, they each get selected. Okay? Now what I'm going to do is lay out each section. How do you want I'm the dude to look? How do you want plain the dude to look? How do you want disguised as another dude to look? So provided for you is a finished example if you look in the files provided for you. And if I zoom out on this, you'll see all 4 artboards, and you'll see, there you go, I know who I am. I'm the dude, playing a dude disguised as another dude. So this one is completely finished, and it shows you exactly how everything's going to be laid out. So now use your creative abilities, go ahead and lay out your text, use a font that's legible, try to stay away from those really fancy fonts. They're really good for when you're punching certain words, you want certain words to stand out, but it's not good if you're trying to do a whole kinetic typography. It's just too hard to read. And then, yeah, just lay it out, and then when you're done, we'll show you how to prep it for whatever program you're going to be using to create the actual animation. So at this point, you could stop the video and go ahead and let the creative juices flow.